and let them know that
go around the room.
I'm Tanya Murray. I work at the Children's Justice Center here in town.
Perfect, thank you.
My name is Sean Searle. I'm self-employed, just expanding my knowledge of online businesses.
Great.
Jeff Anderson, I'm with the Community Impact Mitigation District, and kind of here because we helped create this hub, and just kind of here to support and see how things are going.
Great, thanks, Kent. Yeah, this is a beautiful building. Thanks for having me.
Victoria Saylor, just moved to Vernal from Utah County. And my daughter works remotely, and I want to see what I can get involved with as well.
Great, good to have you.
I'm Jenny Franson. I used to be a software developer and I'd like to be again, but probably remotely because it's remote.
Perfect.
So I'm here.
Good, so you have skills and you're coming in with experience. Good,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'm Heather Lowry. I work at UB Tech with the Custom Fit program that offers 40% off of training for companies that are looking to grow and have a competitive edge.
Great, thank you.
I'm Cindy Sprosty, and I just looking at starting my own business. And so, yeah.
Great.
I'm Janelle Gary. I have, as a broker dealer, I work with a financial firm, but working out remotely. And so, on one hand, I'm training and I'm teaching, and this is a skill set and I think very, very much needed in what we do. And working with the consumer as well as collaborating with others as a team.
Perfect, thanks.
So,
Thanks for being here. I live in rural Utah, and there's reasons you live here in the Uinta Basin. What are some of those reasons? Why do you like to live in rural Utah, or do you love to live here, or are you just stuck here because you're here? Do you enjoy it here? What are some of the pros for living in the Uinta Basin?
Okay. When my kids were little, I could load them in the car and we could go pay all the bills that I had, and they'd get a sucker everywhere we went, and we got home and we'd only wasted an hour.
Perfect. So easy to get around town. Obviously, free candy, and my kids love that too. So yeah, those are great reasons. Any other reasons?
it's the most beautiful place on earth.
It is beautiful. You have the mountains, the river, it's close. And you can head to the city that way if you want it, but yeah, I agree. It is beautiful.
You can get a lot done in a little time.
A lot done in a little time, run your errands, and you still have good places to eat. I mean, it's still you have good variety. Anything else that you can think of?
I love the caliber of people that we have here, the way that we work together.
Community, good people, good.
Really good people, yeah.
You kind of look out for each other and take care of each other. Good. Are there any cons that you can think of? I think one of those cons were employment opportunities with different skill sets. So that's a good one for sure. Any other cons with living in rural Utah?
Not as many opportunities
Good.
when it comes to lessons or stuff for the kids.
Good. So you may have
Different.
sports opportunities, but yeah, maybe they could do something with piano, choir, different things like that, and limited on teachers. Good. Any other cons? Oh yeah, no railroad. A lot of
It
trucks.
just takes a little while to get the options and the things that are not available. That's the only comment.
With the oil fields and things like that, trucking it out instead of on rail. So today, we just wanted to use that as a beginning, try to warm us up a little bit. So there's 5 things that you need to be successful to be a remote worker. And we'll talk about these today. So if you want to take some notes, and some of them are just basic and easy. But we talk to employers and professionals on on a regular basis so that we teach our students the correct things as they go out into the workforce. So the first one, you definitely need a reliable computer. So a computer with a microphone and a video camera. So those are that is key to remote work. The next one would be reliable internet, whether it's at home or a beautiful co-working space like this one. You need reliable internet. You'll want to check your upload and download speeds. And in the class, we'll show you where to do that. Speednet.com, I believe that's what it is. So computer, camera, microphone, internet, reliable. The next three are more on the soft skill side. The first one that you need to be a successful worker would be a skill. So a specific skill set, whether it's, and we'll talk about the different types of remote work as we go along today, but customer service is a huge one. Some people like customer service, some are more technical like programmers, but a lot of our students want to be virtual assistants. So they might work with let's say, a physical therapist in New York City. They might do their paperwork, set appointments. A lot of opportunity in virtual assisting and not really secretarial work, but like doing projects where you don't need to see your boss. So a lot of virtual assisting, data entry. So there's a huge variety in healthcare. So don't feel like remote work is just technical. A lot of soft skills go into remote work. So a skill. The next one, when we talk to employers, would be a desire. So they want employees that have drive, that are excited to come to work. I know all of us don't really get excited every day when we wake up and get out of bed, but the employers want to have someone with a little desire and drive. And the last one, the fifth one, and this one comes up all the time, is strong communication skills. Whether that's verbal, a lot of the communication skills we talk about throughout our class will be texting is different from an email, email is different from a Slack message, from a text. I mean, we can send emojis and our friends know what we're talking about. In a professional setting, we talk about how each of those platforms need to be professional. We talk about your Facebook feeds and things like that. The reason we're here today is to help. Some of you don't need to be introduced to remote work, but we want to let you know that remote work's a great possibility for your future employment. If you have friends and neighbors that aren't here today, they're more than welcome to look us up and sign up for our class. So today, the reason we're here is we want to introduce you to the program, but we also want you to sign up for our class. It's a 1-month course, and I'll take you through the PowerPoint on what we teach. And at the end of the course, you actually get a certificate to put in your portfolio. So it's a great thing to have, and employers know that you've been trained in remote work. We're going to do a quick activity just to let you know. We won't keep you for too long. I know we had, I'm glad we worked out the technical side of it. So what I want you to do real quick, if you have a pen, I want you to draw a pig as quick as you can. Well, not quick. I'll give you 2 minutes. We'll give you 2 minutes to draw a pig. And those of you online, if you want to quickly draw a pig on, looks like we have Sarah Garcia, Maddie, and GJ Searle. We don't want you to just draw bacon, so a full pig would be good. Yeah, bacon's easy, and it tastes good too.
Just a thing that's self-actualized.
Everybody getting pretty close? If we gave you more time, you'd probably have a little bit more detail on that.
That's hilarious.
So let's start out, and there's a point to this. We'll talk about it in a second. So let's talk about your pig for a moment. All right. So look at your pig. If you drew your pig towards the top of the paper, you have a tendency to be more positive and optimistic. So it's at the top. If you drew it more towards the middle of the paper, you have a tendency to be a realist. It looks like we have a lot of realists out there, right in the middle. Towards the bottom, you have a tendency to be a little more pessimistic. Is that true? And which is okay. If your pig is facing to the left, you seem to be more friendly and prone to remembering dates well. I don't know if that's true or wrong. If your pig is facing to the right, you may have a tendency to be more innovative. If it's facing directly to the front, you have a tendency to be more direct with people, straightforward and direct. So if you have a lot of details, you may be more analytical. You have a tendency to be more analytical. With few details, you may be a little more emotional. So let's talk about the pig's legs real quick. With less than 4 legs showing, you may be in a period of change. If your pig has 4 legs, you have a tendency to be a little more secure but stubborn. Now these are the 2 good ones here. If your pig has large ears, what do you think that means? You're a good listener. And with a long tail, this one indicates how intelligent you think you are. No, how intelligent you are. So you can continue to draw that tail if you'd like. So in remote work, if you just glance at different pigs, all of us have different skill sets and we all do things different. Employers are looking for different skill sets. One thing to think about too, some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts, and we need to look at our job opportunities that relate to our personality. Some of us may be more interested in working in a co-working space like this one. Some of us may want to work at home, just in our basement in the dark, and code and program and stay away from people. Another place might be a library or a coffee shop. Maybe you focus a little better with things moving around you, and maybe you get things better done that way. The other thing to think about with your personality would be, do you want to work full-time, part-time, or freelance? And we talk a lot about that in our class, and we try to fit our students into one of those categories, and then we can help develop them into whether it's an entrepreneur, a freelancer, or a full-time remote employee, if those are your goals. So the quick agenda for today, we'll review what we teach in our class. We'll talk about some of the benefits that you may not be aware of, and then we'll stop for some questions if you have any questions. You're more than welcome to ask any questions as we go through this PowerPoint. So yeah, please stop me at any time that way. Let's see. Make sure we're there. Okay, perfect. So 90% of jobs created between 2005 and 2019 were in the alternative work category. So what would some of you call an alternative work category? So it would be, any thoughts on that one, why it's 94%? Go
You
ahead.
might have a little more freedom with your hours that you put in. You can go as you please.
Good, so potentially more project-based stuff. You might have an employer that says, hey, you're in charge of the books. We don't care when you get it done. We just want them done correctly. Another one would be, hey, I need to take the kids to school. Will you make it a little bit more flexible? So the flexibility in work, I think employers are understanding that if we want to keep John, we need to make it a little more flexible, or Sally, to keep that skill set. So that's a pretty cool trend. So 35% of the US workforce freelanced in 2019. So 35%, so some of you that aren't familiar with the freelancer, are any of you familiar with freelancing? One of those thoughts. You mind just giving us a little brief on that?
Sure. Someone that works, they're not employed by a company, they're just kind of contracted out to do a specific job.
Perfect. So say you're a web designer. Potentially you have your own company. Well, yeah, these are self-employed people that use their services or others hired for that service. So 35%. And let's see, the trend is by 2028, it's going to exceed 50%. So freelancing is on the rise. I think people want to have the skill set, whether they're remote. They want educated people. All right, so let's talk about the Master Remote Work Professional course that we teach. So what we'd like you to do is sign up for our class. We start our class at the first of every month. We take you through the training at the end of the month. You graduate. Mentorship. I'm one of the program coordinators for the class, so we're in the class every time you're in the class. So if you have any questions, I cover the eastern part of the state, so Daggett County all the way down to San Juan County, Carbon, Emery, Grand, San Juan, Uinta, and Duchesne. So you would meet with me as a program coordinator when you sign up for the class. You would connect with me personally. At the end of class, we do offer skill scholarships through, how many of you have heard of Skillshare, Pluralsight, some of those other training. So what we want to do is help fill your gaps in your education. Maybe you're amazing at everything, but you're like, hey, I just really need to touch up on my C++ or customer service, or I want to be a web designer. We will help you get a scholarship to learn those skills that you need to fill your gaps in. So we have the training, the mentorship, and then we do offer scholarships at the end. So the first thing you would do to sign up for the class would be the application. Will place you into a cohort training, skill and then development. So this is our website. It's remoteworkcertificate.com. It is on the back of our flyers. If you want to take one of these home, it's on the back, remoteworkcertificate.com. If you want to grab one of those. I also have my cards here if you want to grab one of those. So on our website, We really focus on entrepreneurs, remote employees, and freelancers, and try to help have the different tools to be successful. And then you can click on apply for the course. You can click on some of the other tabs. One of my favorite tabs would be, and I think we've added it since we made this slide, would be our success stories. We literally jump for joy as our students find success. And at the end of our course, we try to connect you with employers that are looking for your skill set. The other cool part, we have monthly networking meetings where we have employers come in, and you're more than welcome to attend. And we usually have 3 employers every month to talk to you about job openings that they have. And so that's another huge mentoring piece that we offer. We also record those meetings, so you can look at our library of all of the previous employers that have looked for employees. So we do all of our classwork through Canvas. How many of you have worked with Canvas before through the university? Perfect. So this is a learning platform. Everything you do in our class will be from home, other than the interactive workshops. You can see here, you work from top to bottom. We have the modules and announcements. You can check your grades. It's really smooth to use. There are some questions that you'll have in the class, but we like Canvas. It's a great learning platform through what we're trying to do. So these are the topics that we'll teach you throughout the month. We have you go through 3 modules each week. So the first module would be Workday. What does your typical workday look like as a remote employee? We talk about distractions. We talk about your workspace. We talk about virtual backgrounds. And we talk about distractions and everything that a workday has to offer remotely. The next module is one of my favorites. It's communication. And we dig into all of the different types of communication, verbal, nonverbal, and how to communicate online. Module 3 would be workflow. We try to share workflow tools like Trello, Asana, different workflow tools that you can have on your computer and be a lot more efficient as you go through your workflow throughout the day. Module 4 is productivity and time management, helping you become a good time manager and be productive. Module 5 would be teamwork. How do you communicate in a team and not leave team members out? Remember birthdays, make sure you feel like a team and you're looking out for each other. So we talk about different techniques to be a better team player. Module 6, compliance and security and safety. We definitely want to touch on that in the class. How to stay safe with your tech and your computer and things like that. Module 7 is critical thinking, how to think outside the box, how to be a productive worker. And then the last 2 modules, we talk about virtual careers and then remote job development. Virtual careers, we talk about different employers, different with your skill set. And then remote job development, we talk about resumes, cover letters, how to be professional in an interview, things like that. So that's what we would take you throughout the month. Zoom, so we use Zoom as our platform. How many of you have used Zoom? I think with the pandemic, I think everybody has. Perfect. So that's what our class looks like. Looks like everybody's smiling pretty good. So we have an interactive workshop. Everybody's on Zoom. Just to let you know when the classes are. So if you want to sign up for our March class, every workshop will be on Thursday. So at either 1 o'clock or 6 o'clock p.m. You don't have to attend both. We have a 1-hour Zoom class where we review what you've learned the previous week. Today, I missed our 1 o'clock. Today they're talking about modules 1 through 3 because it's our second week. The first workshop, we just talked about Zoom, we talked about Canvas, how to get through the class. It's kind of an introduction workshop. The second week, we actually talk about the first 3 modules that you finished. So this would be what you would look like in class. So those 4 classes that we teach are on Thursdays. So there will be 4 interactive workshops. The cool part about this would be the networking. We have employers, we have professionals, we have, this month we have a student from Belgium. We have a bunch of folks from Montana, Missouri, Kansas, New Mexico. So you're networking with people from around the country and around the world that have your in-kind interests, I guess. You want to be remote workers. And the cool part is they can connect you offline with potential employers, maybe their employer looking for someone like you. Now, this one, we use Slack as our communication tool. How many of you have used Slack before? Anybody? Okay, perfect. So it's similar to Facebook and instant message, maybe. So you can instant message in different channels. And so we use this in our class. Each class has their own channel. And then we have other channels like job postings. We post all the jobs that we're aware of in a job postings channel, where you can continue to look and see if there's a job that you're interested in. We do have the random channel that's kind of a water cooler. Hey, this is a picture of my family. And anyway, we have some fun in Slack as well as professionally that way. This would be your certificate at the end of the class after the 4 weeks to put in your portfolio and your resume, which is really nice to have. Let's see. So some of the results we've had, just to let you know, 72% of our students in the last year haven't had any remote experience at all. After taking the class, 92% indicated that it was important for them to acquire remote work skills. So what that tells us is they're learning something through the class and they're getting more confidence. I think some of us, when we think about remote work, we don't know where to start or where to look. It's a perfect class to give our students confidence, knowing where to look, where to connect, and we're always there. We've had right around 2,000 students graduate from our class, and we still connect and we still feed resources. Attitudes got better and knowledge gained got better through our study throughout the class. A few to point out that our students talked about. It helped them balance their professional and personal lives. I think a lot of us, if we do own our own business sometimes or at work, we're still working when we're home. We try to help throughout our class, help you separate your work-life balance. So that's helped some of our students. It's also helped them to manage their professional and personal productivity. They're more efficient with their task lists and things like that. Problem solving, it's helped them communicate digitally, using online technology, and contributing as a team member. They understand that they're important as a team member and how to manage their careers. So that's all I have to talk about the class. Are there any questions that you had on how we take you through the class, what we do, things like that?
So how many hours would you say, so there's 4 interactive classes?
Correct.
And then you'll have obviously homework or assignments or what, not homework, but how many hours would you say there is for this particular certificate?
Okay, great question. So we have quizzes for each module. There are 2 quizzes. One's a pre-quiz, and then you go through the module and and there's a post-quiz. The cool part about it, and I'll just let you guys know that the pre-quiz is the exact same as the post-quiz. We want to gauge and see if you learned anything throughout the module, if you missed any on the pre-quiz. So in a roundabout way, you have your assignments, your quizzes per module. You're right around 20 to 25 hours during the month. If you really want to dig deep and research all the resources that we have throughout the modules, you're looking at 30 hours throughout the month. So you're about 3 or 4 hours a week in classwork.
How many modules did you say there were?
There are 9. Yeah. So you're probably an hour, you're probably about 2 hours a module.
Well, I'm looking at it because like I said, on one hand, I'm teaching and training. This could free up some significant amount of time on this repetitive stuff that we go through already to put them into a class like this.
And the cool part on your side is once they bring you that certificate, you know that they've finished all their classwork. Now there's 80% would be graduation score. It's not too crazy. A lot of those topics are actually fun to learn about. So you don't feel like you're not feeling like, hey, I'm learning. This is the cool part about remote work that we've learned. Some of the skills are basic, but they just need to be mastered. You watch a baseball player, he still hits off the tee, and a basketball player still works on layups. If you're good at these, you'll be a very successful remote worker. So yeah, hopefully it could fill in some of your gaps.
So do you have a list of the modules that I can take with me? Or
Sure.
go through on my way out?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, so on the same vein, how much Zoom time?
So it's just 1 hour a week. Yep, so it'd be, everything else you can do at home on your own time. We just ask for 4 hours where you're hanging out with us and we're just collaborating, talking about class, your thoughts and ideas, learning from other people. So 4 committed, hey, this is the time we'd like to have you on Zoom. Yep. So just to did I show a picture of our team? I don't think I did. So we have 4 program coordinators. So there's actually 6 of us that will be in the workshops, and we're here to help and connect you with resources throughout the whole class. So there's 6 of us that actually do this throughout the state.
So then, as someone who's looking for entrepreneurs or those that I might want to interview, where would I come in and talk with those that are looking?
So
Where does that take place?
perfect. So our network meetings, we would love to have you as just take 20 minutes, talk to our students about, we get roughly 30 to 40, anywhere up to 60 every month in our networking meetings. We would just have you as a guest speaker.
So that's just over.
No, we would have it done on Zoom. Yeah, so you would just do your presentation on Zoom. So let's connect with you. We can do that anytime. So we're always looking for employers. And so one month we have employers, the next month we do professional development. So we'll have a speaker talk about a variety of subjects. And we have had a lot of successful people that are just interested in helping people. So we've had authors and amazing people that you wouldn't think you could get, but I think they get excited to train on a Zoom call. So we get pretty cool professional development folks that are legit people. So yeah, we'd love to have you either on the employer side. Either one, okay, perfect.
And what is the cost for this?
Good, great question. So it's $20 for the class, and that pays for everything. So it's, yep, $20. Yeah, $20. So we, just to let you know, we used to do it for free, and we found that when people put a little bit of skin in the game, we feel like they're more committed and
$20 American bills, huh?
American. Yeah. Now, if some people have a challenge, we understand there's different, some counties will pay for students and some other avenues that might pay. So if you have friends, family, or neighbors that are like, hey, we want to take this, we'd love to have them. Anybody that you talk to, even if they weren't here tonight, and you're like, hey, I need a buddy to take the class with me, they're more than welcome to sign up. So don't feel like they have to be here. This is just an information meeting to hopefully sprawl throughout the community with people that you connect with to take the class.
Age, is there a certain age that you guys?
Perfect. So our youngest has been 16, and it's awesome because our high school kids, they have been amazing. So we're adult education, 16, and our oldest was 75. And it's just fun to see the different, demographic. But yeah, so 16 all the way up to
What about if they taking college classes and they're not 16? Yeah, I have two kids who are taking college classes, 14 and 15 years old. So they're looking at entrepreneurship and stuff like that. So they're at the age where they would do the work. Just
if they're willing to do the work and be in the workshops, I think we're okay. Yep. If you feel like they're, yeah. And it seems like the younger, they absorb it in really well too. So yeah, they're more than welcome to if you want to sign up. Any other quick questions? We'll wrap this up here pretty soon. I just want to touch on a few benefits real quick that you may not be aware of. So higher income. I think a lot of us, with me living in Castledale, 1,200 people, everybody's like, hey, you're not paying anybody over $10 an hour if they work at my local Ace Hardware. Remote work opens you up to national average income with your skill set. So say you're a secretary at a local law office, you can be a virtual assistant for a law office in New York City and make 2 or 3 times as much. So your skill set is more valuable in the global economy. A little bit less stress. I know we all stress about something, but it helps when you're home a little more with family. You got a chance to advance in remote work. I think when we're in rural Utah, we feel like we've hit the ceiling at whatever our wage is. You have advancement opportunities. Less use of PTO time, paid time off. If you need to run the kids to school and take a half day off to go fishing with your kids, remote work's great for that. Work-life balance, that's part of that. It's not an 8 to 5 type situation. And then extended work age. If you're 80 years old and you have a killer skill set, you can still work as a remote employee. A few other benefits. So that talks about general remote benefits. The class benefits, taking our class would be the training. And then job leads, networking with other remote workers, mentors, and then the trainings. If you're looking for a scholarship or Skillshare is a great learning platform if you want to learn at home instead of going to the university to learn. Are there any other benefits that you can think of as remote workers that you think would benefit your life? I think love having the kids here. I have young kids, so just it's huge for the stay-at-home mom as well, so. Any other thoughts before we wrap this up? It looks like we're getting pretty close. Does anybody on Zoom have any comments to add or any questions? Okay, so if you could go to our website, so like I mentioned before, just some asks. If you want to take our course, we'd love to have you. No matter where you're at in life, I think you'll pick something up throughout the class that you'll really like and will benefit you professionally as well as personally. If you have any friends or neighbors that might be interested that aren't here, please give them the word and the website. We'd love to have them.
With this, I guess my concern is that with this class, I don't know if I have a skill set for remote work. But will this help me? And I'm not, I'm willing to look into the different directions. Will this help me kind of look into the different opportunities of the skill set and be able to guide me to the direction of the skill set? Or
For sure. Yep. The other thing is if you're interested in entrepreneurship, we also have an e-commerce class that will help you design an e-commerce website and give you education that way. And that's kind of a different angle. But yeah, so our goal with that is to help you answer those questions. Hey, what are my skills? We actually ask you to dig deep in what you're good at. Maybe you're good with people. Maybe you're not interested in customer service. Maybe you are. But yeah, we really try to dig into, hey, this is what I like to do, and this is what my skill set is, and then we can try to help you get on a path to where you're successful. And I wish I had pictures of the success stories. So as of last week, we've had 172 of our students find remote work in rural Utah. So it's exciting. Even though we have had 2,000 students go through, a lot of people take it for professional development, and they're probably right around 600 actually actively looking. So 172 out of 600 have found remote work in the last 2 years since we started. And a lot of that goes back to maybe they need a little bit more training to get that job they want. But we are finding 1 out of 3 are finding remote work if they want it. And if you really want it, I think you can get a job in one of those. Any other questions before we wrap up?
So the other services that you were just referring to, the e-commerce,
Yes.
Because I know that we use some of the services and things like the powerpay.org,
Mm-hmm.
does some of the different things. Do you offer those as classes? So how often and where?
So we teach the e-commerce class quarterly, and it's actually coming up again in the next month or two. I think we'll be teaching it in March or April. I'll have to double check. So really, it's the basics to e-commerce. We want our students to learn the different platforms, what site they actually want to use. Do you want to have a pay option on your site? We really try to get them just basically organized, and then we try to help them launch that, and then go through business licenses through their community and all that stuff. But it's kind of the basic to e-commerce and how to develop a site. We do have other courses. This is our main entry-level course, and the other courses you'll learn about if you're interested in them. We'll continue to teach. So thanks for coming out today. If you want to take earbuds, some of our flyers, and then those online, maybe we can type in the chat my contact information or the website. If you want to stick around for a second, we can put those in the chat. If you sign up right away, we'll have you in the March class. It's the first Thursday of that month, and so once you sign up, we'll start sending you emails and getting you prepared for class starting next month. If you want to take the April class, that's fine. You have options to pick which class you want to take. So thank you very much for coming. And then we'll post the